Hello, good evening and welcome to Joy News at 8. My name is Matilda Nyakwa Dennis. Now in the headlines, teachers across the country serve notice of an industrial action following what they believe is a raw deal served them by government and the Fair Wages Commission over pending issues of their migration onto the single spine salary structure. The Ghana Immigration Service descends heavily on 27 Chinese nationals who enter the country with fake entry permits. Families in about 800 houses in Tamale and Senerigu rendered homeless after a heavy rainfall which killed one person and injured 6 others. And former Brazilian President Lula da Silva commends Ghana for advancements in democracy. All these and more coming up shortly. Please stay. In our first story for tonight, 2 of the country's biggest teacher associations, the Ghana National Association of Teachers, that is NAT, and the National Association of Graduate Teachers, NAGRAT, have served notice of a nationwide strike which is expected to start on Monday, March 18. The industrial action is meant to register the teachers' displeasure with the handling of issues surrounding their migration onto the single spine salary structure. The strike was announced earlier today at a joint press conference by NAT and NAGRAT. NAGRAT President Christian Adaipoku told Joy News earlier they will only call off their strike if concrete steps are taken to resolve their grievances. President of NAT Samodo Alobui explained the teachers' position to Joy News. Now, teachers across the country have served notice of a full-blown strike which is expected to start on Monday, March 18.
At a press conference in WA, the Upper West Regional Chairman of the Association, Callistus Haruna, said it is clear that government has no intention of resolving their grievances on the single spine salary structure. He said the only option to have their issues resolved is to embark on a strike after government failed to honor its promise to commission a working group to review their concerns.
NAGRAT has tried all along to use diplomacy and dialogue to resolve the issues, but government has consistently demonstrated bad faith and non-commitment to resolving them. The pressure from the membership of the association has reached its peak. Leadership responds to the needs of the membership, as at now is a call for industrial action.
Callistus Haruna, however, explained the teachers do not intend to use the impending WASI as bait to press on their demands.
This thing started early January. As if you will recall, I've just stated that in my speech, that we gave government the warning that we were going to embark on this strike on the 28th January. You understand that? Yes, it isn't simply because the WASI exam is so close or it has even begun.
Rafiq Salam's report from WA.
Now, 27 Chinese nationals in possession of fake emergency entry visas were prevented from entering the country by the Ghana Immigration Service on Tuesday. The foreigners, most of who claimed were here for various business meetings, were between the ages of 20 and 57.
According to Head of Public Affairs of the Ghana Immigration Service, 3 of the foreigners repatriated on Tuesday arrived on an Emirates airline and were removed immediately in accordance with the law. The remaining 24 who arrived on Ethiopian Airlines had to be detained and repatriated the following day, since their flight had already taken off by the time their illegal status were detected.
What they do not know as migrants or travelers, they will think they've gone for a genuine visa with the intention of outwitting us at the borders. But our officers are all on red alert. We think that from January we have seen an increase in the presentation of fake visas, and I would say we have dealt with almost all of them. Those who have come with fake visas have been repatriated.
Assistant Commissioner of Immigration Francis Pamdeti said they will continue to investigate foreigners who come into the country with fake visas to help fish out those behind the issuance of these fake visas. He also called on foreign embassies to help educate their nationals to be careful with middlemen and apply for their visas at the right places.
They should cut out middlemen, or if they are using agents, they should be sure those agents are credible. But I think that the embassies could help us educate their nationals. We would also put it on our website that individuals should be wary of persons parading themselves as agents who can assist in the procurement of visas, etc. At least they should do proper and due diligence on them before they seek their services.
Since January, the Immigration Service has refused the entry into Ghana of 65 foreigners who were in possession of fake visas. These foreigners include 50 Chinese, 3 Americans, 3 Turkish, 2 Germans, 2 Pakistanis, 1 Vietnamese, 1 Namibian, 1 Filipino, 1 Yemenis, and 1 Nigerian with a fake passport. The Acting Director of Public Affairs at the Immigration Service, Pamdeti, called on the general public to report to the service any foreigner they suspect to be in the country illegally.
2 more suspects have been arrested in connection with the murder of a 13-year-old boy at Abuakwa, a suburb of Kumasi in the Ashanti region. This brings to 4 the number of suspects arrested so far in connection with the murder.
The suspects are elder brothers of the late Reverend Johnson Opoku, father of the deceased. They are Kwejo Crew, 52, and Pastor Daniel Apia, 50. They were arrested at Kintampo in the Brong-Ahafo region by a combined team of Abuakwa Police and the Homicide Unit of the CID in Accra. The 2 arrested earlier, Pastor James Akwesi, 42, and Kofi J, 54, have been remanded in prison custody to reappear before the court on March 28, 2013. They are on provisional charges of murder. The late Akwesi Yabwa, a second-year junior high school student of the Trinidad Kodria Preparatory JHS, was murdered on Monday, March 11, 2013 at 1:30 a.m. Intimate friends and classmates were left stunned by the incident, but the family of the deceased has said they believed the attack was premeditated. Mahmoud Mohammed Nuruddin's report.
And still in the news, the judge presiding over the judgment debt case between the state and businessman Alfred Woyome has warned journalists covering the trial he'll be compelled to throw them out if they continue misreporting proceedings that happened in the court.
Justice John Ajet Nassam at the Financial Division of the Fast Track High Court issued the warning following complaints from both the prosecution witness and lawyers of the accused for what they say is the continuous misreporting of events that happened in the courtroom. Senior State Prosecutor Cynthia Lamptey says her observation over the period point to a systematic pattern of misreporting by some media houses. She mentioned the Daily Guide and the Enquirer newspapers as those guilty. Lawyer for Alfred Woyome, Alhaji Musa Ahmed, raised issues with the Ghanaian Times publication. Justice Ajet Nassam, who took notice of the complaints, says he is equally unhappy with the continuous embellishment reports from his court. He said any journalist covering the proceedings can contact the court for clarification over issues that are not clear to them, and warned he would be forced to take drastic action against offenders. He says he is not in any way trying to trample on the rights of journalists, but the right thing should be done. On the substantive case, Director of Legal Department of the Public Procurement Authority, Leslie Dodu, who was a prosecution witness, gave an overview of their operations. She says the authority is there to ensure the public purse is protected. When lawyers for Alfred Woyome asked her if she knew the accused, she responded in the affirmative, explaining she knew the accused during her 12-year stay at the Ministry of Finance and Economic Planning's legal department, where they worked on different projects. The case was adjourned until the 27th of this month.
An executive member of the Progressive People's Party, William Dawpo, has called on government to fix the broken economy to give hope to the suffering masses in the country.
Addressing a press conference to mark the party's one-year anniversary, the party's parliamentary candidate for the Ayawaso West Wogan constituency in the 2012 elections, William Dawpo, criticized President Mahama's attempt to link the poor economic performance to the high public sector wage bill.
Today, we are faced with severe energy and water crisis. And the government's response has been the same old ways of doing things that have never solved any problem. But consistent with our vision to provide affordable energy in abundance for industrialization and rapid development, our solution to the energy and water crisis remain pragmatic. The PPP is determined to disband forever the energy mafia that has deliberately disabled the Tamale oil refinery in order to award themselves and their cronies contracts to import finished products at the expense of the taxpayer.
William Dookpo also condemned the current political system of the winner takes it all, saying it destroys the country's political system as well as entrench the system of patronage.
The current neo-patrimonial political system based largely on patronage portends a real danger for this country's future. The PPP calls on all progressives, Ghanaians, statesmen, and civil society organizations to support our effort to fight for constitutional and electoral reforms to improve all aspects of our governance architecture to make Ghana a great and strong nation. We will continue to engage the people of Ghana on the need to establish an open, inclusive, and accountable governance system in our country.
The press conference was part of activities to mark the party's anniversary.
We take a short break and return with more stories. Please don't go. Thank you for staying with Joy News at 8 on your Joy News channel on Multi TV. Now, moving on in the bulletin, former president of Brazil, Lula da Silva, has commended Ghana's democratic credentials and has expressed their readiness to keep working with Ghana. Lula da Silva was speaking in a meeting with President Mahama at the Flagstaff House. He is in the country to deliver a lecture as part of SIC's 50th anniversary celebrations.
President De Silva says that Ghana's recently held election is evidence that democracy is really the hallmark of the country. The former Brazilian president says that kind of peace and democracy is what is needed to further enhance development in the sub-region.
That's why I would like to thank you, Your Excellency, for your kindness to receive me here. And I hope that I will be able to help in building a more closer tie between Brazil and Ghana.
President Mahama applauded the former president for his contribution towards fixing the Brazilian economy and expressed his readiness to learn from his experience. President Mahama said Ghana will continue to partner Brazil to achieve good results.
The links between Africa and South America are very obvious, because if you take the two continents and you bring them back together and fit them together, they fit like a jigsaw puzzle. So it's obvious that millions of years ago, those two continents were one. And if you go by air from Accra to Brazil, it's 5 hours and 30 minutes from takeoff to touchdown. And so certainly there are links, that join us together inextricably. And we all are encouraged by the progress that Brazil has made under your leadership and recently under the leadership of Her Excellency Dilma Rousseff.
Meanwhile, the president of Lebanon, General Michel Sleiman, will on Saturday arrive in Ghana for an official visit. He will come with an 86-member delegation. He will be holding bilateral talks with President Mahama upon his arrival. First Lady Lordina Mahama will also visit the Osu Children's Home with the Lebanese First Lady. The first couple of Lebanon will leave Ghana Sunday afternoon.
Meanwhile, the new Italian ambassador in Ghana, Laura Capini, has pledged to use her duty tar to enhance the relations between Ghana and Italy. Capini gave the assurance on her maiden courtesy call on Vice President Pakwesi Emisa-Arthur at the Flagstaff House in Accra.
The visit by the Italian ambassador was to introduce herself to the vice president and assure him of the cooperation of the new political administration in Italy with Ghana. Laura Capini praised the relations between Accra and Rome over the years with the assurance that Italy would cooperate to achieve the vision of the nation set out by President John Mahama in the State of the Nation address.
With these conditions and circumstances, I'm sure that we can foster, and I am here sent by the President of the Republic to make sure that this relationship grows and becomes even stronger in the next few years. For me, it is even a very appropriate moment to pay this visit to you, because I can already forward and convey the messages that you would like me to send to Rome, to the new government.
Vice President Emisa-Arthur commended Italian expertise exhibited in the construction of the Akosombo Dam and the Pong Waterworks and expressed Ghana's appreciation to Italy for her investment and assistance to the Ghanaian economy.
I also know from my experience in this country about Italian investments in the economy of this country. And we are grateful for the support that we receive and continue to receive from Italy in the pursuit of our development agenda. I know that there will be many more avenues for fruitful cooperation between our countries in the future, and we will encourage more Italian companies to come so that we get the benefit of their expertise and of their experience in projects and so on in this country.
He expressed the hope that there would be more collaboration between Ghana and Italy on both the domestic and international fronts.
In other news, a member of the National Biosafety Committee is pushing for the establishment of a university dedicated to training professionals to help improve the agricultural industry. According to Josephine Nketia-Tebiri, the absence of a University of Agriculture is contributing to a diversion in career path for students who desire to gain more knowledge in the field. She made the observation at the launch of the Bioscience for Farming in Africa manual.
The manual, titled Insight, chronicles the contribution of science and technology to food security in Africa. The manual, comprising of articles from 18 research scientists, also explores how biotechnology can enhance plant breeding and the development of good quality high-yielding seed.
Biosciences for Farming in Africa invited 18 prominent experts from around the world to write essays from their own personal point of view on different aspects of how the biosciences and biotechnology could be applied and can help farming, and farming here in Africa in particular. We believe that the biosciences have got a significant contribution to make to agriculture in Africa, and indeed has significant contribution to make around the world, given the global challenges that all of us face.
Stressing the vital role science and technology plays in national development, Josephine Nketia-Tebiri, a member of the National Biosafety Committee, called for the establishment of a University of Agriculture to train more people to work in the agri sector.
At this point in time in Ghana's development, we need to have an agricultural university, one purposely for that. Because we talk about agriculture. I have people who have done agriculture in the senior high and they can't get admission when they want to go to the university. They end up doing the arts because there's just not enough room for everybody. If we think agriculture is so important, I think it's about time we set up one institution purposely for that and make sure that we promote agriculture and the sciences that relate to agriculture. Look at the food crop farmers. When they have abundant production, then they just get spoiled. Would you enlarge your farm come the next season? You won't. So it's important that we attach importance to the needs of food crop farmers in general, but food crop farmers in particular. Because when people are food secure, you can take them to the moon. You can go anywhere with them they will not talk. But if they spend so much on food, then it's like they don't know what you're doing.
Philip Abayori, a farmer, raised concerns about the lack of a seed bank for farmers to easily access quality and affordable seeds.
Looking at the majority of farmers in the country, it has become very difficult for the the seed growers who were selected, because they need resources to be able. If the capacity was built, I thought that the best was for us to transfer, the government should have transferred the seed company directly to those aggregators, so they would have had equipment, they would have had all the resources. But everybody has to start afresh individually to grow seeds in smaller quantities, and that has been the challenge. So farmers keep on replicating, using grain as seed. Now even the seed that they struggle to grow, the distribution networks are weak. So sometimes seed that is very expensive to grow is even being sold at grain, because if it doesn't get to the farmer at the right time, the potency of it will be lost and it has to go on grain. So there is a challenge, and we need to have a very vibrant, private-oriented seed system.
Crop scientists believe biotechnology is the way to go in developing good quality, high-yielding seeds for farmers.
The WASA Fiesta Traditional Council, led by its paramount chief, is embarking on a number of developmental projects to bring some life to the area. The Traditional Council, in this regard, is appealing to government for assistance in addressing the challenges of illegal mining plaguing the area. Western Regional Correspondent William Benjamin Peters has more.
The WASA Fiesta Traditional Area happens to be one of the largest paramount areas in the Western region, which also abounds in a lot of natural resources. It is also confronted with a lot of challenges, such as lack of potable water, poor road network and infrastructure, among others. Lack of access roads linking communities makes it difficult traveling from one community to the other. Because of this, drivers plying these roads charge exorbitant fares. Another challenge facing the traditional area is the issue of illegal mining, popularly known as galamsey, which abounds in most communities. Water bodies are polluted by the activities of these galamsey operators. Although the Traditional Council is making efforts to address some of these challenges, they require help and are calling on government and the Takwa Insuaim Municipal Assembly for assistance. Provision of some boreholes to communities, reconstruction of some of the roads, among others, are some of the projects the Traditional Council is embarking on. Land disputes and litigation also form a part of the challenges militating against the development of the area, especially when it comes to the issue of galamsey. William Benjamin Peters report for Joy News.
AME Zion Junior High School in Winneba in the Futu district of the Central Region is in a pretty bad shape with dilapidated school blocks. At least that's the scene that greets you when you get to the school, and the pupils are crying for rehabilitation of their school. Central Regional Correspondent Georgina Apia has the rest of the story.
Pupils of the AME Zion Junior High School in Winneba have complained bitterly about the deterioration of their school. According to them, their classroom blocks are in bad shape and they've developed very dangerous cracks. Worst of all, when it rains, it's impossible to even enter their classrooms. But that's not all. They complain of poor sanitation situation in the school.
When water, when we can't sit in our school, in our classroom, and even the building too is not good. So when we are sitting in the building, we are afraid that the building will be broken.
Anytime it's raining, we find it difficult to enter in our classrooms. So that even sometimes we don't learn. We walk throughout the day. Sometimes a day, normally if it's rain, the children cannot have access to enter the classrooms. So we find it difficult.
Authorities of the AME Zion Junior High School were unavailable for their comment about the situation. In a related development, the Guidance and Counseling section of the Department of Psychology and Education at the University of Education Winneba has sensitized students in Winneba and Apam on examination preparation and early sexual behaviors. Leader of the group, Frank Adai, explained the rationale behind the program.
our adolescents, as they go through their developmental stages, they are not being guided by anybody. You can bear with me that, especially the females, during their menstruation, no parent will get it, even though they may be educated, wouldn't get the time to let you know that, okay, during this is what you have to do, keep yourself. And because the adolescent is prone to peers, will take the advice of the peer. When it works, it gets confidence in the adolescent.
Georgina Pierce report from Winneba.
In a rather unfortunate incident, one person has been confirmed dead, with 6 others, including a 5-year-old girl, said to be injured in another rainstorm which hit the northern regional capital Tamale last night. Mohammed Hashmin has more.
Over 100 residents have been rendered homeless in another rainstorm which swept through the Tamale and Sanerigu districts in the northern region last night. The rainstorm, which lasted for about an hour, ripped off roofs and razed down more than 800 houses in 6 different communities within the Tamale metropolis. Several containers and trees were overturned during the storm. Electricity supply to these communities has also been cut off as most of the electricity poles were uprooted. Affected residents are temporarily being sheltered in schools, whilst others have sought shelter with neighbors. The displaced are appealing to the National Disaster and Management Organization NADMO and other benevolent organizations to come to their aid. According to Mohammed Awal, assemblyman for the Nyashegu Gumani electoral area, a resident of the area, Malam Bala, was killed by a container which hit him whilst returning home from work during the rainstorm. He said more than 46 houses in his electoral area have been affected by the rainstorm.
The Nyashegu disaster started somewhere 5 p.m. yesterday. We started with some windstorm, and all of a sudden the rain started falling. So the wind was going with the water. So we're there and we heard about 5:30 that Nyashegu houses were going off. So I quickly left home and I came to the rain and I actually saw several houses were roof off.
This is the 3rd time in 2 weeks that a rainstorm has caused havoc in the northern region. The Gushegu, Yendi and Savalugunanton districts were affected during the earlier rainstorms. Deputy Coordinator of the Tamale Metro Office of NADMO, Alhaji Abubakar Malba, says his zonal coordinators have begun registering the effect.
Well, we have able to assess more than 800 houses, yes, at the moment, and then we are still going around. So maybe roughly we can target it about 1,000 something, because at the moment from here we are going to work in. I don't know what is happening over there.
Mohammed Hashmin's report for Joy News.
Up next is business. The Vice President Kwesi Amisa Arthur this afternoon met with labor unions to deliberate on issues affecting the sector. My colleague Seth Tenge was there for Joy News.
The meeting was at the instance of the Employment and Labor Relations Minister, Niyama Ashite.
We want to make sure that that project of fairness, equity in the public sector, pay management be adhered to. We want to ensure that the rights of workers will be enhanced. We want to ensure that productivity is also enhanced.
The Vice President noted it was necessary to hold regular meetings with the labor unions to commence a relationship as partners instead of meeting during crisis only.
In these meetings, we also will be able, I hope, to explain some of the strategic decisions, some of the issues of a long-term nature which constrain our short-term ability to meet some of the challenges that you have. So we'll explain the government's vision, the policies, some of the programs, and what is behind them. So we can discuss basically the framework for developing this relationship further and, as I said, agree on how regularly we'll meet and in what kind of forum, whether it will be a much smaller group of the various units, maybe JUSAG only will meet and so on, rather than a large body. We can discuss all that here.
The Secretary General of the Trades Union Congress, Kojo Asamoah, said the unions believe in effective consultation for fruitful engagement.
Each time that we met, we emphasized
on mutual trust and respect. We would want an engagement which is not taken from a premise that as and when it becomes necessary, firefighting. Then we are brought here with a whole range of coverage, which is later on said to have consulted labor. It happened in the past, and we think that we should need to structure our consultation in a way that we are not called to a meeting just like that, but we knew and respect that there is an institutionalized arrangement for consultation, and that any kind of inputs we make are also taken serious.
The meeting was also to discuss microeconomic situation in the country. The rest of the meeting was held behind closed doors.
The first mini draw for the multi-TV buy and win promotion has been held at the studios at Kokomlemle in Accra. Alfred Bampo of the Ghana Institute of Languages won the first prize of a 51-inch Samsung TV. The business news, the president of policy think tank Imani Ghana has asked the government to go beyond complaining about poor productivity in the public sector and take drastic action against non-performing employees in the sector. Franklin Kujo told the roundtable discussion on the budget at the Speaker's Conference Room in Parliament on Friday. Performing frontline managers must be fired and replaced with competent people so as to foster productivity in the public sector. His comments follow concerns expressed by the President in his State of the Nation address and reiterated in the 2013 budget that the public sector wage bill is weighing heavily on the government despite poor productivity from about 700,000 government employees. Now to some international business where Boeing has said it expects commercial flights of its Dreamliner 787 plane to restart within weeks. The comments came just days after the U.S. airline regulator approved its plan to redesign the lithium batteries used on the plane. Some smart investment tips and market data up next.
So let's do some more sports news, and we'll start from the camp of Accra Hearts of Oak. And former Hearts of Oak defender Dan Quay says he is in talks with the club over a possible return after his 7-year stint in China. The 32-year-old defender, who was part of the Black Stars squad that represented Ghana at the 2006 World Cup in Germany, enjoyed an outstanding 8-year career at Accra Hearts of Oak. Dan Quay started training with Hearts on Monday since returning from China, and he tells Joy Sports he's ready to help revive Hearts with experience gained over the years in his professional football career.
In 2007, I got a contract in China, so I went to China and played for about 5 years. And, you know, WASA Fiesta too is my favorite team, so I decided to come and play for them. Maybe if I have another contract, if God bless, then I move on. Still I'm playing, I'm active, so that one there is no problem. Even when you see me playing, Even you could see, I shouldn't tell you, the Kofi Wayo, you know, is still dependent. Yeah, it's true. Even there, I used to play midfield. During our days, you know, you could see some experienced players among us. But now I could see the team, though they are good, but they need some experience to match, you know, so that they can learn from the senior men. So I think, though, they are doing well. Because the place as of focus is not the place it's supposed to be now. By God's grace, I think everything will be okay. The opportunity is there. National team is it's not for anybody. When you play well, you can join. So I hope maybe if God willing, then I started playing, everything will be okay.
All right, so away from Accra Hearts of Oak, let's now do the UEFA Champions League, and the quarterfinal pairings are out, with four-time winners Barcelona facing Paris Saint-Germain, while Real Madrid face Galatasaray. Last year's finalists Bayern Munich meet Juventus, and debutants Malaga take on Borussia Dortmund. The matches will take place on the 2nd and 3rd of April. All right, so delicately poised for action, really. And in the UEFA Europa League as well, Benfica will come up against Newcastle, it's Chelsea up against Ruby Kazan, it's Fenerbahce up against Lazio, and Tottenham Hotspur will come up against FC Basel and Switzerland. For more interest, for us, it's Asante Kotoko, who are actually drawing with GSM Bijaya in the African CAF, or the CAF Champions League right now. We'll have to still say a prayer for Asante Kotoko to see what happens over there. That'll be all for sports tonight. My name is George Adi Jr. Have a good night.
Sports was now, showbiz tonight starts on a rather sad note, because today is exactly 1 week since actor Michael Monka passed on to glory. Some of his colleague actors and actresses from the Ghana movie industry have been recounting some fond memories of him.
I want to, I want a direction to...
To where?
Are you a student?
Yeah, I'm a student here.
Exactly a week ago, the Ghana movie industry received the unfortunate news of the death of actor Michael Monka. Some members from the Ghana movie industry, as well as family members, gathered at the residence of Michael to observe the 1 week of his passing. Michael was a regular face in the popular TV series Efiera. Some of the Efiera cast recounts some memorable moments with Michael.
He's somebody we've worked with for a very long time, for over 10 years now. It's a very big blow to us. What we're saying is that we sending our condolences to the bereaved family, to Ghana Actors Guild, and also to the Efiera crew whom he's been working with. It is our prayer that the Lord will grant him a place to stay. Make sure his soul will rest in perfect peace.
Monka will be so much missed, because Monka is someone who is very, very kind, both outwardly and inwardly. And so when I heard the news, I was surprised, I was shocked. I'll say...
Ghanaian reggae artist Abudu Krabasu Seidu, known in reggae circles as Ras Chris the Red Fire, says there is a marginal difference between the Rastaman and the Madman. The musician, who is also a reggae DJ at FM station, spoke in an exclusive interview.
Most people say, because we really believe in exhibiting that, love for creation. So see, I see you. And like, oh girl, you look nice, you look beautiful, you look pretty. Don't speak, say, I'm talking about loving you and making that content there with you. So people may say Rastas are womanizers, but I believe they are of individual characters.
Redfire seems to have a good sense of fashion. He does not hesitate to share with us what inspires his sense of fashion.
Wow, it's a design, yeah, which signifies no time for vanity, no time for luxury. So don't I look fine in this? Fashion. That is what people them say, but it's cool with me. Yeah.
According to him, there is a thin difference between a madman and a Rastaman.
People them have bad perception for Rastafari people. Our appearance and our everything. Already we have our hair intermated and scattered. So that alone is enough to scare somebody from you. So when you leave yourself in a way, remember also that we don't have much difference from the Rastaman and the madman. You know that if you take a passport picture of a mad person, and you take that of mine, that is if I take off my turban, you know, you could see there.
Very interesting comments from the Red Fire, and that does it for Showbiz. Now to some social media where we have some very interesting comments. First one from Habib Al-Hassan, and he says, teachers, teachers, teachers. It sounds poetic. He said, let's tell the government we can also bite, and I think we have just started. Isa Abdul Wahab says, we deserve the best and maximum respect, but now what do we see? Ishmael Manfred, he said, who is to be blamed when teachers were given the chance to negotiate for their salary? Teachers are reaping the kind of negotiation NAT did for them. And I'll take a final one. The comments are so many, but I would have to end with Agbole Sugar Bomone, said, which strike action during WASEC or BEC examination? Said it's rather unfortunate. So that is all for social media. But before we go, another look at our top stories. Teachers across the country serve notice of an industrial action following what they believe is a raw deal served them by government and the Fair Wages Commission over pending issues of their migration onto the single spine salary structure. The Ghana Immigration Service descends heavily on 27 Chinese nationals who enter the country with fake entry permits. Families in about 800 houses in Tamale and Senerigu rendered homeless after a heavy rainstorm which killed one person and injured 6 others. And former Brazilian President Lula da Silva commends Ghana for advancements in democracy. We also looked elsewhere on the continent where a Zimbabwean politician has been attacked in the capital on the last day of campaigning before votes. That's all for News at 8 with me, Matilda Nyakwa Dennis. Thank you very much for your time. Good evening.